Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's first ever live podcast. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and joined here in the studio in our SmashBoxx studios is the producer and the man behind the scenes and my good friend, Jonny V. How are we doing tonight, Jonny?
So far, so good. I think we got the stream up and running, and we're ready to start our first show.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It's not really our first show, so to speak. We're actually 9 live productions in, but it is our first show in a studio. It's a lot better than being outside right now.
Oh, it's freezing outside. It's freezing out a lot of places.
That's true. We are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, somewhere in the 30-degree area today, and it has been less than awesome outside, so we're glad to be in here in a studio, and we've even got another advantage. We've got, hopefully, solid bandwidth.
Cross our fingers.
Anything's possible out there on the internet. We've got an exciting show for you guys planned tonight. Again, this is our proto show, never done before, and we're gonna give it our best try. And we're looking forward to giving you all the best.
Yeah, let's get this started.
All right. Well, first we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give you a rundown. Tell them, Jonny V, kind of what's on the agenda here for tonight.
Well, tonight we're going to be our first segment. We're going to call something like Winners and Losers, where we'll go over a couple of the events that are happening or happened this past weekend. Then we're going to probably, for sure, call Steve Dodge.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Well, assuming he picks up. We had a problem earlier today with him not picking up. We're going to review the new Pixel disc golf game out on iOS. We're going to kind of look at what's going on in social media, and maybe we'll even make some picks of the week. Not even disc golf related.
Wow. I don't know anything but disc golf, so you'll have to carry that part of the show.
We'll see what we can do.
Well, again, this is Jonny V. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Many of you have seen us do live disc golf broadcasts throughout this entire year here on SmashBoxx. We debuted SmashBoxxTV at Sylmar Park in April here of 2014. We brought you the C tier, the Sylmar Open, with an exciting finish. Max Nichols taking it at the very end.
Lefty.
One of those lefties. And throughout the entire year, we were able to bring you all of those. Hopefully, you've seen some of the Disc Golf Guy video blogs that have taken place. I think I have 249 of them out there, none of which were edited by Jonny V. No, not those.
No.
So you've seen plenty of me throughout the time. Jonny, let's get to know you a little bit better. You've been behind the scenes doing all of the production, and at that being self-taught. Give everyone a little background and history regarding you and disc golf.
Me and disc golf. Well, thanks to Terry, I'm in disc golf. It's been, I think my first tournament was late '97, Fox Valley Open up in Appleton, and we met in college. I kind of played a little bit before, but nothing serious. I met Terry, and Terry was an avid golfer. You'd already been playing for 5-6 years at that point, I believe. We started touring around the country. I think we played pretty solid for about 12 to 13 years after that, going everywhere from Florida and Mobile, Alabama for a couple spring break trips, and
North Carolina, everywhere
all the way up the East Coast, all throughout the Midwest. So, and I've kind of played pro, if you call it that.
You sign up there.
I sign up there. Yeah.
All right. And actually, we have known each other since somewhere around 8th grade.
Junior high.
Yeah. I made the transition from parochial to public school. That was voluntary, completely voluntary, of course, in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And that's when I had originally met you, and we didn't really hang out too much in junior high.
No,
and then in high school, we kind of had some mutual friends.
Yeah, we had some mutual friends. Junior high, I think we walked home from school together a couple times.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You with your mullet.
Yeah. It was the 80s. It was the 80s. After that, we both worked together at, I think it was our senior year. We both went to North senior year,
Appleton North
High School. Then we both worked at Best Buy together.
Mm-hmm.
We both happened to go to UWM without really ever talking to each other.
Yeah.
And from there, we struck up a friendship, and kind of you hopped on my coattails and made it through college.
And here I am still just riding right along all these years later. We both have IT degrees and backgrounds.
Sure, if that's what you call yours. Yes, I have a job as an IT manager at Wisconsin's largest title company, Nightberry Title. So I'll give them a free plug. So that's my day job, more or less. I'm sitting down like this in front of a computer every day anyway. Mm-hmm. So I took the time when we decided that we were going to start broadcasting to do a little bit of research and figure out what the best way for us to bring disc golf to everybody was. So right now we have we have one remote camera and one guy behind the camera who also does the audio, and I sit behind the computer usually at my office and kind of switch the show, picking different shots, kind of change things up a little bit, and we can go from there.
Yeah, so hopefully everybody's been enjoying the Smashbox, of course. With only being a few months in this year, we were able to cover 9 different events live, ranging all the way from C tiers to even the exhibition round, which is one of our most viewed videos throughout the entire year. The King at Blue Lake, the Battle at Blue Lake, where we had Climo and Uli,
Macbeth, and
Steve Rico. So it's been an exciting year. We of course are looking forward to 2015. We're going to be traveling more. We're starting to talk to the PDGA as well as some of the national tour events, and it's been really exciting. And so here we are now, kind of in what many would call the downtime of the season. Of course, you're seeing less big events, you're seeing less traveling by the players, and we figured this would be a great opportunity for us to recap what's been going on, to maybe preview what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But then also try and give a little interesting insight as to the world of disc golf during the wintertime.
Some things that we see either online or behind the scenes, if we can do that, we'll bring in guests to share their experiences and maybe plug some items if they have and where they can be found.
Yeah, and one of the exciting parts about this show is we're going to be open and welcome to anyone and everyone. We're going to talk with a variety of manufacturers. We're going to talk with a variety of our top professionals, and including promoters like your Steve Dodge. I'm sure we're going to try and give you some Am Worlds and hopefully some Pro Worlds updates from anyone in those camps. And then whenever we get a chance, we'll review products or other things that we see online. So it's going to be a kind of a mixture, and hopefully we're going to add some humor, some clips. We're going to be looking for some submissions from you guys.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that I want to bring to the show is a lot of the disc golf community itself. I want suggestions, and we're going to have hopefully call-in sections where people can actually call us and just we'll vet them, maybe we won't. Just get them live on the air. We've got friends all around the country, and we can kind of get their point of view, and I want to build a small community, or hopefully a big community in general, around this show, and getting people from everyone from Legacy to Innova to Discraft to Prodigy to all the disc manufacturers.
Absolutely.
Dynamic Discs, all of them.
We'd like to talk with all of them, and new and exciting products that may be coming out.
Definitely.
Maybe even new companies that are coming out.
Yeah.
It'll give us a great opportunity to help expose some of those.
As we all know, disc golf is expanding at a faster rate than I think anybody even realizes. So this is hopefully a good way to maybe show the people who already know and get their input, and maybe bring it to people who don't even know.
Absolutely. And of course, we'd like to thank some of our friends over at the PDGA. Jonny V and I both have been PDGA members for a very long time. I played in my first Am Worlds in 1996, which Brian Graham, our executive director, was in fact the tournament director of. I'm PDGA 10738. And Jonny V signed up in college just a few years later, 14324. 14324. So
somewhere behind us in this glorious studio that we have is my original sign-up disc and a nice yellow PDGA disc that they used to hand out.
Every year it's changing. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move into some of our interesting topics and segments. Of course, if you're watching this live, please go out to the YouTube page on the right-hand side. Depending on the layout of your screen, you can actually interactively chat with us. Other people can see what you're saying. Of course, keep it on the clean side, clean and appropriate.
If we can, yeah.
And so we don't have to moderate anything out there. And please feel free to join in on the chat, give us some feedback, and let us know what's going on out there. We really want this to be interactive.
Yeah.
Us two could babble literally for 12 hours straight, but
and we have
on the phone. But we really want it to be interactive, and we want to get as much participation as we can from everybody else. So you see Twitter handles out there. Of course, you can tweet to us. Those may or may not get addressed right away during the show, but of course, reach out to us and at SmashBoxxTV as well. There's a Twitter handle out there, and we're going to do everything we can to interact with you guys.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, one of the other things that we're hoping to do with this is not only release a live show, but a podcast as well. So this week, we're going to take just strictly the audio and find a way to host it and put it out there so all you guys can go out and grab it after the fact and listen to it. You can fast forward through our stupidity if you want, or, well, not that there'll be that much of it. But no, we'll have hopefully a podcast feed of this as well later this week, or maybe early next week, depending on how my schedule looks.
Good call. Now, where are they going to be able to find that? I'm going to put you on the spot because I don't know where we're putting that.
As far as the podcast, I'm hoping that any major podcast app will have it. Everything from, I personally use Pocket Cast, it's called, on my iOS device. I know that's on Android as well. A lot of people use Stitcher. I think iTunes has a built-in podcast. I'm not sure what Android.
Okay.
So, yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to find it anywhere. We'll have an RSS feed up there for all you techie guys that know what that is, and we'll move on from there.
Really super simple.
Really
Good.
super simple, yeah.
That's what that means. And yes, of course, it's worth noting Jonny is a iPhone, Apple guy. I'm an Android guy, so you're going to see some of that play out probably here and there. Anyway, so first on the list, let's talk about just a couple of the things we saw last week. And, of course, we're slowing down here in the season. There's still notable events going on and some interesting stuff. Who do we got up?
This past week was the North Carolina Spike Heiser Presents. Winning that was Nate Sexton. And he sounds like he shot some pretty good golf to do it.
Yeah, Nate Sexton. What's really impressive, I think, so much about that event, there was only, I believe, 33 participants, 10 of which are rated over 1,000. So if you do some of the math,
that doesn't leave a lot of room to cash for someone like, let's say, me or you or Kyle Dolzer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely a very competitive field. Everybody knows that in North Carolina, where they hosted the Worlds just a couple of years ago, incredibly competitive out there. And it was very impressive as to who cashed and who didn't. Nate, we figured out, averaged about 1047 golf over 4 rounds.
That's pretty good. That's a little higher than his rating, I'm pretty
Considerably
sure.
higher, actually.
Considerably higher?
Yes, it is. And that's no dig on Nate. He played incredibly good golf and was able to pull off the win. Finishing right behind him were Jeremy Colling, Barry Schultz, Wisconsin's own, and Schwebby, the beloved Brian Schweberger, finishing in the top 4. Also, I think we had some other winners. We saw Katrina Allen pulled off another victory. I believe it was about a 3 women's field. She had a sizable victory.
Not bad.
And Eric McCabe.
He took down his first win at the Piney Woods in was that in
Texas?
Texas, not Kansas. Texas, yeah. That's kind of surprising that it's his first win.
Yeah, his first. I mean, he had a couple of other smaller wins. Some of the
win,
and it was a solid win, a B tier, some solid competition out there, and he did take down his first win of the year there. We'll say in that sizable of a field. I think I interviewed Katrina Allen earlier in the year, and we were at the USDGC, and she had made mention of some kind of bonus or something if she got 30 wins. I think it was 30 wins, and I know she's more than 20. So Katrina or all of her fans can chime in with that, but more than 20 wins. And I don't believe, we could pull it up, but I don't believe she's finished worse than 3rd at any event this year. So
did she go to the right course?
She did, and she still managed to win, just like she did at Worlds.
Okay, excellent.
And very impressive. Yeah, as you say, that was a whole nother story for another day even. But Katrina Allen getting the win this weekend as well.
Hopefully we'll get her on the show at some point in the near future. Her and maybe Uli and
again, we have so many different people we'd love to reach out to. So look for some of our top pros and top promoters as we move on. A fun segment that I think we're gonna bust out here probably will be every week. We're calling it #BigHug.
Big hug.
And that is a virtual hug to an individual who came up just short of the cash line. It could be at any given event. And we already talked to you a little bit about the Spike Heiser event. Who's our Big Hug winner?
So I think I want to kind of do something a little. I didn't run this by you. I want to do something kind of fun with everybody that's listening, and what I'd like you to do is reach out to our Big Hug winner on social media. If they have a Facebook or Twitter handle, and give them a hashtag Big Hug.
There you go.
And our hashtag Big Hug winner is Andrew Weiler, who missed cash by 2 strokes.
2 strokes at the Spikeheiser. Again, we're not making fun of anyone here.
No,
very competitive field.
Yeah, it's amazing that that kind of field can show up at this time of year at any given event. Most people this time of year tend to scatter more towards where their home courses are, and Andrew probably put up a pretty darn good fight just to barely miss out.
Yes, he was just 2 strokes out of the cash line, like you said.
Is better than 1 stroke.
It is, because with 1 stroke, you're always thinking, oh, God, I missed my last putt.
Spit putt, missed putt, anything like that. 2 strokes, whatever. So, yeah, so reach out to Andrew Weiler. Give him a hashtag Big Hug on Facebook or Twitter, or, if he's lucky, maybe he'll show up on the chat board some point.
Yeah, there we go. We love that. And speaking of which, again, it's very critical, being that we're 100% home growing this experience.
Yeah.
So go out there and please share and like the podcast, even as it's going on right now.
Yep.
We've got a bunch of viewers that are in here watching. Please go out to Facebook, share it.
Yeah, and if you are listening to this as a podcast, if I actually get that out there in time, please make sure to rate us in whatever podcast app there is. Give us 4 or 5 stars, depending on how you like us.
Or 6. Can you do 6?
I don't think you can do. I don't know. There's all sorts of different podcast apps, but definitely don't go below 1 less than whatever the most is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find one that offers at least 6.
6 stars,
and then give us
the 6th star
somehow, one way or another. So again, hashtag Big Hug out to Andrew Weiler. So look for that segment each week. Maybe a professional division, maybe another division, but Andrew, again, hashtag Big Hug. All right. So with that being said, I think we're ready.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in a friend of yours and a friend of mine, somebody that we've worked with quite a bit this year, particularly, and hopefully we'll have him up on the show here in a couple minutes, and that's one Mr. Steve Dodge.
Yeah, and some may ask, why in the world do you have Steve Dodge
as our number 1 guest, our first guest?
Our very first ever guest, and that's very easy.
We had people beating down the doors to be the first guest.
Absolutely. Well, Steve Dodge has been one of our biggest SmashBoxx supporters here in the 2014 season. Of course, we also had, when we were out doing all the live events, we had a plethora of sponsors that stepped up and were a big help, mainly being Legacy Disc, who wanted to support all of our live event broadcasting. And with that being said, Steve Dodge actually invited us out to the Maple Hill Open, and we did just that. We presented the Maple Hill Open for 4 days, and it was just a no-brainer to get Steve on the show. A very funny individual, and fun as well, and obviously a mover and shaker in the sport here of disc golf. So in just a few moments, we're going to bring up Steve Dodge for you. We're going to plug in some headsets and get ready. Is he waiting on the side? He
is waiting here. We're just hopefully going to get his video pretty quick, but until then, he's got his nice little picture of him with some discs behind him.
Well, he looks cute. We're going to have to talk about a number of things. And again, in just a few moments, we're going to be moving over to Steve Dodge of the Maple Hill Open. I know he wears a number of different hats. It's getting colder. He needs a hat on that crane he's got right now.
He's actually not wearing any hats right now. We're going to go over to Steve, and there he is.
All right.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
It's going great, Johnny. Hi there, Terry. Good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's good to have you. You're looking really burly.
I don't know about you, but I live up north, and it's a little chilly.
Massachusetts, a little further south than Milwaukee.
It's probably
pretty close. Yeah. I'm 2 actually growing out for Movember. This is 6 weeks. So you can look as close. Unfortunately, we only are broadcasting at 720p, so you can't see. It's really full right now.
Yeah, every individual.
1080. I look like a mountain man.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good reminder for people. If you want to go ahead and click on the little gear in the bottom of your screen, if you're watching it on the computer, go ahead and change that up to 720p, as that's what we're broadcasting at. A lot of times it defaults to something lower. So, but with that on the note, Steve, what's going on?
Well, I guess the first thing to say is I think with a YouTube video, and this will be a YouTube video after we're done. Is that true?
That is. Everyone will be able to find it. It'll be a public YouTube video. Everyone can watch whenever they want.
So when people send links to it, if they just do start ID equals 20 minutes, that's probably the time when they want to jump in.
Oh yes, there's a lot of extra in the beginning, I guess, but it's all required. It's all stuff people need to know.
Yeah, it's our first ever show, Steve. Come on.
Yeah, come on, give us a break.
It never hurts to tell people what you're going to do rather than actually do it.
Well, yeah, if you spit it out, it's just as good as doing it.
So, what's going on? We've got some excitement going on. I just started getting tournaments that are going to be Maple Hill Open qualifiers, and that's if anybody out there runs a tournament or knows someone that runs an event and they want to be a Maple Hill Open qualifier, this is the time of year to go on there and apply. So that's one pretty big exciting thing that's going on right now.
Okay.
You talk a little bit about what it means to be a qualifying event and just how tough is it to get into your tournament in the first place?
If you've been to the tournament and you've cashed, it's not very hard at all because all of those people have reserved spots. On January 1st, we open up the registration to anybody who wants to get on the wait list. And that's January 1st. Usually the wait list by the January 2nd or 3rd is 40 or 50 deep. Every spot into the tournament is reserved for people that earn their way into the tournament. So if you want to play, go to a qualifier or pay some extra money.
And I'll throw a shameless plug in here. If you're in the Wisconsin area, we're looking to make the Greater Milwaukee Open a qualifier again. We were, I believe, the last 2 years. And hopefully we will be again next year. Steve, is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think I've seen your application yet, Terry.
Okay, well,
I'm sure it's in the mail.
Yeah, just look for that. I mail things now,
Yeah.
or fax. Check your fax machine, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh.
Give a real quick update as to how your tournament has transitioned throughout the years. I mean, it's been a full year. You're not calling it something different this year?
That's a great point. The big addition this year is going to be an expansion of some of the side games. We always have a lot of, we have our driving and our accuracy and our putting contest, and we have an overall winner. Last year was Aaron Doyle, and he won the handshake that I give to the overall winner. I think I actually gave him 2 handshakes, but he's a good kid. But this year we in the Sap House upstairs we've expanded and we now have a full range of bar games. We have an air hockey table, skee ball, pinball, pool, darts, and a couple of other foosball, shuffleboard. So we're gonna have a big game competition. So we're gonna have a real to win overall this year, you've got to have a complete, well-rounded ability. You can't just be good at disc golf and distance.
And I'm sorry, did you mention pie eating?
No, Jeremy Colling will be there. He will be the pie eating champion. That is a done deal.
What makes Jeremy so good at the pie eating? He seems to win almost every year.
If you watch, he actually has a secret that maybe you could do. It's pretty straightforward. He eats the pie very fast.
Now, we won't get too far off base, but I know that Jay Redding and Colling and a few of the others, they really hone in and maybe even hide specific pies because they feel that they can digest them easier. Is that one of the secrets that's maybe out there?
That is a possibility. Everybody tries to hide the Boston cream pies, and I usually take about a half dozen and put them in my refrigerator, and then after the tournament I eat them every day, one a day for the next week.
Well, I will say that we are very excited, SmashBoxxTV, Jonny V, and myself, along with probably a handful of cameramen and other production assistants. We are very excited. We're honored that you would have us back here again at the Maple Hill Open so that we can present live disc golf. I think we're going to have some action leading into it that we'll be able to broadcast as well. What are some of the events that lead into the opening day of coverage?
The big thing that I'm going to guess, and I'll give Smashbox some kudos. I think you guys are one of the, honest to goodness, you are one of the top 5 people broadcasting disc golf live.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There you go, Johnny. Thank you.
Yeah.
You broke into the ranks, and I think, you're in the top 5.
That feels really good coming from you, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think you're one of the top 5 tournaments at Maple Hill. So, honestly, the feeling's mutual.
It was a close call with the last day dubs coming up. Did you ask me a question?
No, I don't think an important one, probably.
Oh no, yeah. The day before the tournament on Wednesday, we've got the champion skins going on, just like we did last year. We'll have the dub skins as well. I doubt if that's going to be covered live, but if you guys feel aggressive, we could do that. But the champion skins, we put $2,500 on the line. Each skin is worth $100 to $150, and these guys they entertain us with some amazing shots. I remember Kel Leviska last year was very pumped up, basically the whole round. He did a really good job of getting the crowd into it, and it seemed to help him make a lot of amazing shots.
And unfortunately, though, when it was all said and done, Nate Doss seemed to run away with most of that, huh? I think he's spending that money on his honeymoon, which just started yesterday, actually.
Yep.
I couldn't have given it to a better honeymoon.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things, there's so much fun and excitement out there at Maple Hill, and one of the things that you've always believed in, and I know you have a background and a deep-rooted history in both disc golf as well as ultimate. You talk about the spirit of the game. What does that mean for everyone out there?
The spirit of the game. Thank you for bringing that up, Terry. That's kind of the entire reason that I play disc golf, and all disc sports. Spirit of the game is the way that we compete. You compete with someone instead of against someone. You're not rooting for your opponent to fail. You're rooting for yourself to succeed. And in disc golf, that's really easy to do. You want him to hit that 20-foot putt, but you definitely want to hit your 50-foot putt and win. When I grew up, I was playing soccer in high school, and I remember there was a breakaway on one of the games, and the player from the other team it was a one-on-one with the goalie, and one of our defensemen ran down and literally horse collared the guy before he got to the box, and just tackled him basically. And our team thought that was great, and the other team thought that was bad. And then so he got I guess a direct kick. I don't know all the rules in soccer. Not that they matter. But so that was a penalty of some kind. But he did not get an easy goal. And at the time, I thought that it was a good thing to do, to break a rule to gain an advantage. And when I started playing Ultimate in college, I was taught a different way to play. And it genuinely captured my soul. I said, this is, you call your own fouls. If you're not sure, you ask somebody, and everybody's straightforward and honest and respectful. And there's actually an award given to the people who are the most honorable and respectful, and it's called Spirit of the Game. And what I'd like to do is take that concept and apply it to disc golf. And we did that through the Birdie Bash last year. We had over 200 Birdie Bashes, and at each Birdie Bash, one person won the Spirit of the Game. And so I'm proud to say that there's 200 people out there who are Disc Golf Spirit Award recipients, and hopefully TDs will grab onto this idea and give out this award, and convince people to not convince people, teach people that this is what disc sports are all about.
Well, and I know you
actually.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I don't mean to bore everybody.
No, this is good. We have lots of time to fill, Steve. Don't worry. There's a reason we picked you first. We know you're a little more long-winded. We're showing all of our future guests what they need to do.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. The first thing is don't shave for 3 days for Movember. That's the first thing.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a list of like 10 things here that a Spirit Award winner is, and I can read through these really quick if you'd like.
All right, please do.
The Steve Dodge top 10. Do we have a
top 10?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The Spirit Award winner is respectful, has a positive attitude, is happy when someone else makes a great shot, listens and considers, is respected by their competitors, treats others as they would like to be treated, believes there's someone else that ought to be the Spirit Award winner. I remember when we gave Dana Vici the Spirit Award back in 2000. I guess I don't remember it.
A couple years ago.
Like it was 2 or 3 years ago. He came up, and one of the first things that he said was, "There are so many more people that should have gotten this award," and I think that was telling. That told me that Dana got it. He understands one of the basics. A Spirit Award winner is the kind of guy that's going to instantly help to find a lost disc. He's happy to be playing disc with all of his friends, and he always has fun. And I shouldn't say he. I should say they. Women could win the Spirit Award.
Absolutely. We just need more women playing the sport of disc golf is really what we need.
I agree with you.
And in that regard, we're going to send a big shout out to Aaron for acing hole number 16, was it, over there off the red course? So congratulations to Aaron for your first ace.
That's right. Erin Tivnan aced hole 16. It was her first ace, and that hole is now being changed.
We can't have aces. That's it. This is.
It actually is being changed as part of the sustainability program being put on by the PDGA.
Okay.
Good.
I'm actually not kidding.
No, we know. Yeah, that's when you said you weren't kidding the first time, I bought that. So. Which one is hole 16? I've only walked the course.
It's like 1,000 feet straight down a tunnel, and people like Paul Macbeth and Will Schusterick and whatnot from the gold tee drive it all the way down, and it's just ridiculous. How far is it from the red tee?
Oh, it's upwards of 190 feet.
Oh, booyah. Well, nice job, Aaron. That's pretty awesome. I don't care if it's 50 feet. An ace is an ace, right?
Yeah, they all count the same.
An ace.
Very cool. And then you already spoke of, you spoke of the spirit of the game and then so many other fun things that we see and that are tried out at the Maple Hill Open. And one of your roles while working over at Vibram is getting the discs out there. And one way you've done that over the last couple of years is the Birdie Bash. You just referenced it. Tell everyone a little bit about what the Birdie Bash is and what they need to do to get involved with one.
Well, the first thing I should do is give a shout out to Discraft. Those guys came up with the Ace Race, and what a fantastic idea that was, and I guess is. Mm-hmm. And I took the concept of the Ace Race, and I basically just added a shot. I love the concept of making an ace run, but if I miss, I kind of want to take that second shot too. So a Birdie Bash, you get 2 throws, or on a par 4 you get 3 throws, and if you hit metal you get a point, and if you make it in the basket you get 2 points. And if so, that's the very simple version of it, and you get to use a total of 2 discs. And similar to the Ace Race and a lot of other programs out there by different disc manufacturers, it's kind of got a time frame to it that you adhere to and you want people to get signed up for, and then it happens within a certain few months, right? Absolutely. The Ace Race was in the fall, so I wanted to be far away from that, so we put it in the spring, and other people are filling in around the rest of the calendar. So the Birdie Bash is in the spring. TDs can sign up their events starting in December, not at the beginning of December, but at some point in December. And this year we're adding, we have one extra feature that we're adding. In addition to everything that we are doing, we're going to have a Birdie Bash championship.
Oh, that's interesting.
At a course to be determined. So if you win the Birdie Bash in your area, you will be invited to participate in the Birdie Bash championship. And we'll have a bunch of people come to a central course and play in an amazing Champions Birdie Bash.
Awesome. Now, you've talked a little bit about Vibram and your involvement. And I know the Vibram Open was the event that was being held at Maple Hill. Is there going to be any other specifics about the Maple Hill Open that people should be exceptionally looking forward to, besides being one of the best weeks? And also tell everyone when it's going to be this year.
The pro side of the Maple Hill Open is June 25th to 28th. The Champion Skins and Dub Skins is obviously the day before, Wednesday, June 24th. And the AM side, which is becoming a prestigious AM event and fills every year, is 2 weeks before, so June 12th to 14th, if I did my math right.
Sure, we'll believe you.
So that is when the event is, and the MapleHillOpen.com website is up and running. The registration side of it is not open, but it talks about, there's a video on there that explains how people can get into the tournament. We've got all of the side games all listed, and it's most of the schedule is done. We've got the tentative payout listed, and I do have a caveat on the payout. I say this payout's not final. It might go up a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the Maple Hill website is all the stats you put up there, actually. I was looking at that last year, the different holes and the different birdies and pars and, averages for all the top pros and like that. Is that something that you take and do, or do you have someone there that takes care of that?
Steve Gans at the PDGA helps me put those stats together. He's an amazing resource for the PDGA, and he's able to help me call that information, and then I just put it up in graphical form. Graphical?
Nice. Yeah.
Sure.
Graphical.
Graphical.
It looks pretty. Speaking of looking pretty, I just need to know, before we move off the Maple Hill Open conversation, will I have another spot on the floor in your bedroom for next year's event? Will I be able to sleep there again?
I would imagine most nights, that you've got that spot.
Okay. Heck, I think we're done with him.
Nothing creepy about that at all. No. So you sleep on the floor
at the foot of his bed.
At the foot of his bed.
Yeah.
At the foot of the bed.
For like a whole week.
Wow.
And I love it.
I'm sure you do. I've slept near Terry. I know he can be a little noisy when he sleeps. So good luck to you, Steve. Good luck. Good luck.
I've slept very close to Terry.
Well, there's a lot of people probably even in our chat room right now that can say the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, Steve, let's move on to you were actively involved with the PDGA in a lot of different ways. I know you've made some proposals. I know you were on the board. I know you've done a number of different things. You got any rules, suggestions, or modifications or proposals you'd like to make?
I've been thinking about a few things, and you hear a lot of things. One thing that I hear about is people saying that and it's not a large number of people, but I've heard it talked about on the Pros Tour, the basket should be a little smaller.
Okay.
That's one thing that I've heard, and I'm guessing that the reason that people are saying that is because they want to make putts more exciting. So they want a 25-foot putt to be more exciting to watch. They want people to miss it more often. And I'm on the fence about that. But one thought that I had, and it works if you have a 6 and an 8-year-old daughter, these kind of thoughts pop into your head. What happens if you take that and you flip it entirely around? Because that's how children's minds work.
You make the people smaller?
What? Yes, make that.
Okay.
That's currently what I'm working on at the gym.
Yeah, me too.
So I was thinking, what if we made the baskets bigger and we made the approach shots more exciting? Someone's 120 feet out and the basket's twice as big. They've got a shot at it. And that would be very fun to watch.
Now, do you think people should be able to run up and follow through from any given distance when doing that? Or I know you had an analogy about...
Terry, you're leading into my next point, but we don't need to get there yet.
Oh, okay, we don't. Okay, go on.
Are we done talking about bigger baskets?
What else do you have to say about bigger baskets? Personally, I kind of like the size of the basket. I think it's, and maybe it's just because that's all we've played with for the past, well, for me for the past 20 years, but for everybody else longer than that. So, I don't know. I'm torn on it. I kind of like the basket. What's your Any other argument? Do you have another argument? I don't like the approach argument. Come up with something better.
I want to hear Terry's thought.
I definitely don't think we need bigger baskets.
They're pretty blunt. It's not a lot of places you can see the interviewers just flat out disagree with their interviewee.
Yeah. I certainly understand your point about putting. I think the best putters in the world make it look very easy.
Sure.
It's demoralizing almost to watch a Nico and a Macbeth or a Shoestrick or any of those guys, any of our top players who just seemingly never miss.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that the baskets are.
And we've got, I mean, we've got new baskets coming out now that catch discs even better. The
Mach X.
The Mach X.
Is,
that's the new one in the Arroyo. They're coming out where they seem to catch anything within 5 feet of the basket, for the love of God. And it's, I need that.
Johnny, I was playing in a match play tournament last weekend, and I can attest to the fact that if your disc is more than 2 feet away from the basket, they do not catch it.
Because I need, maybe I need someone to stand behind the basket for me and help.
So I think the overall point that I was making was in general, the people that are arguing that a basket should be smaller are people that are very good at putting. Yeah. And in my opinion, I'm very bad at putting. Why shouldn't the basket be bigger?
Sure.
And I'll cede to your point, Johnny. I think the basket's a pretty good size. I think Ed did a pretty good job in designing the base size of the basket.
I mean, in the past 15 years, we've seen all sorts of different things. We've seen people try to come out with directional baskets. We've seen people come out with, I think one year I saw a really small basket that someone wanted to put in a hole in the ground, almost like like ball golf. And I don't know. I think we have a pretty good thing going right now, and I don't really see us as a need to change it. Because you're right, not everybody hits 90% of inside 30 feet. Some of us only hit 30% of them inside 30 feet. So,
yeah. Again, we'll probably have various segments on this moving forward as to what's the best basket, why do you like it, and we can talk about that certainly in future shows. But I like the size of them. I think the one argument that can be made is the ones that are out there now should just catch a little better. Sure. And sometimes we've seen what seemingly look like perfect putts somehow find a way to get back out of the basket, whether it's spit straight back at you or it goes through the basket. I know there was a large debate on Jeremy Coling's page just a few months ago about baskets and how, we'll say, his luck with them.
Sure.
And I don't know. I
think everyone goes through streaks, good luck, bad luck. For years I never heard you complain about a spit putt, but in the past year I've heard you say you've had some of the worst spit putts you've seen.
Yeah, so, just the other night. So.
Yeah, and it's just it goes in ebbs and flows.
So Steve, what else are you proposing then, buddy?
But I would propose that we keep the basket the size that it is. But two things that I think would be interesting to try out at larger events, especially when you're playing a very long course. I've noticed that it can take a long time, and in an attempt to speed up the pace of play, if you put a 2 meter diameter circle around the basket, so from either side of the basket it's 1 meter, about 3 feet, and if you are touching this circle or you're inside of it, you don't have to putt out. Just walk up there, pick up your disc, and go away.
Okay.
On the 18th hole, you do have to putt out just because there's a little bit of drama there and people want to cheer for you. But other than that, inside the 2 meter diameter circle around the basket, I would say let's not bother with that putt. It's like the extra point in football. You really don't need to do it. It's just wasting time. And when a round or some of our rounds are getting up and over 4 hours, maybe it's a good idea to knock off some of the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, your analogy, the extra point. Obviously, there's been discussion about that. That's with football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've talked about that. And what are the percentages? Is that 1% or 3% that are missed?
It was like 0.3% that are missed.
0.3%.
Yeah, I think it was like 99.7. So I know in the preseason they backed it up for a game or so. Or it was a weekend. I forget exactly how it went, but they pushed it back an extra 15 yards. And they tested it out. So what you're saying, Steve, is I've heard a couple things. You're saying don't bother with it. And
yes.
I've heard some people say if you're within it, actually back people up. So it's a suggestion that I know was thrown out there a couple of years ago, where if you get too close, more or less have a relief zone where you need to come back 8 to 10 feet just to make it more dramatic. Because you're right, there's a lot of those drop-ins that really have no drama. The only problem I see with some of the bigger events is a lot of times we have a shotgun start, so everybody's 18th hole is different. It would work at the Vibram where everyone finishes on 18, but
there you go.
But
that's true.
I mean, there's different ways to look at it. I mean, that's something that you could go to the PDGA and have some sort of X tier and take a look at that. We've got an X tier in Wisconsin here where you have to throw opposite handed if you go out of bounds. So a fun little event, but.
And the thing, if we were going to do it as an X tier, the thing to do would be to do one round with it and then the next round without it. And see if there's a time difference. See if we actually did save 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then once we have that data, we can figure out, is it worth saving 20 to 30 minutes?
So.
And would you propose that for any and all divisions and skill levels? I mean, is literally we're talking 3.5.
Just the open division, right?
I would just start it. I would start at national tour events actually. Wow. I wouldn't start with Pro Worlds because I think that's its own beast. But I would start at national tour events where you have very good control over the courses, and you have very good quality of TDs, and in general the level of players is very high, and they would be able to understand what you're doing.
Okay. Well, it's a suggestion. It's always something that's out there.
Yeah, let's file that one. That one deep in the SmashBoxx podcast.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something different. How about anything else, or are those your two main ones? Do you have anything else? You're a smart man. I've seen the books in your house. They're way over most people's heads. So what else do you got for us?
And that's not a short joke.
No, well, yeah,
no.
well.
Even picture books can be intellectually challenging. So
you stay in the lines when you color, so that's good.
The other thought that I would have, and I'm not sure this is a good idea, but it's one that I've thought about, is when I see people jump putt, and I see the discussion about the 10-meter circle. The 10-meter circle on most courses is not marked. No. So either people have to pace it off, and I'm going to guess that not everybody paces exactly correctly.
And it takes time.
Or whoever has the strongest personality wins the argument as to whether or not a disc is outside the 10-meter circle. And what that does is that makes the 10-meter circle not really fair. And so the question would be, what do you do? Do you make it a 20-meter circle or a 50-meter circle? And my solution would be I would borrow from ball golf, and I would say you can follow through on the tee past the end of the tee. But any other shot, if you're on the fairway, you can't follow through past your shot. You have to be in control. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause people, if they do a run-up, they're going to have to learn some sort of follow-through that allows them to pivot and land behind their disc. And it's going to get rid of all of the confusion about, am I outside the circle, am I inside the circle? And then it does the parallel to ball golf, where in ball golf, if you're on the tee, you can tee your ball up. And then once you're on the fairway, you don't get to tee it up anymore. You have to play it where it lies. If it's in a little divot, well, actually, I don't even know. Do you get to pick that up?
In ball golf, you get a drop. I don't know.
Either way, you don't get to tee it up.
Yeah, the last time I played ball golf, I almost killed somebody. Honestly, so
they probably deserved it.
Poor woman.
So using the equivalent in disc golf on the drive, on the tee, you'd get to follow through. Everywhere else, no. Let's just stop that whole concept and make people stand and throw or be in control on their follow through.
This is actually something I think I could get behind. It's a little bit more realistic. It takes a little more of the guesswork out, because being behind the scenes, watching a lot of the broadcasted disc golf, one of the big arguments is, did he let go before he crossed the line? And you get with the type of video we have now, people are literally freeze framing to see, the absolute second that it leaves his hand versus his toe touching a blade of grass. I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous, but I think something like that rule could help eliminate that. I would be less opposed to that than, say, some of your other ideas.
So each week when we check in, we're gonna have a shopping cart, and Jonny V will say, no, we'll think about
maybe,
it.
yes, no.
Clean up on aisle 9.
If Johnny's willing to give me a maybe on the last one, I think I'll just stop there, and I'll save the other ideas.
Well, very interesting, and of course we want everyone. We know that there's some people out there that are chatting with us live. If you're not watching it live and you want to tune in, certainly hit us up on our Smashbox page with some of your thoughts or rebuttals to Steve Dodge's ideas. And
good luck.
Good luck, exactly. Or reach out to us on Twitter or whatever it may be. Of course, we'd love to talk about it. Maybe every week when we talk about things such as this, we can bring them back up the next week and see if there was ever a consensus. Does that happen?
No, there's never a consensus.
Okay.
But what we should do is come up with some sort of, it's a new idea I have. It's called a hashtag.
Oh,
clever. Yeah.
Okay.
I just came up with it. And maybe if you tweet myself or Terry, put in there something like hashtag Dodge's ideas or something along those lines.
Or dodged that one.
Dodged that one. No.
No.
Either way, or just hashtag Smashbox. And we can take a look at them and kind of get general ideas and see what the consensus is from people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Steve. Well, we do appreciate you being here on our first ever show. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the world, live or otherwise?
Where can people reach you? Where can people talk to you if they need to get a hold of you?
I do have one more thing.
Oh, good.
I put a blog out today. Not a video blog, I'm not as cool as you guys.
Okay.
No one is.
But, no, you got that. Okay.
My favorite disc golf format is match play. And so I wanted to come up with a tournament format that would allow us to play match play. Up in New England, we played one-day tournaments. And I wanted to get as many people involved as possible and do a match play format. And I came up with a 64-player, one-day quasi-match play tournament that I'm calling World Cup format. And I put it in my blog, and I'd love to know what people think of that format tournament. Well, of that tournament format, sorry.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what it is because it's kind of convoluted.
Well, that's fine. Where can people find that on your blog? Where's your blog located at?
Oh, that's a good question. I assume
I have one usually a day.
Isn't it written across the bottom of the screen?
It's not, actually. I wasn't sure what it was beforehand. Otherwise, I would have had something set up for it. But next time, we'll do that for you.
You can call me at 1-800-DRUIDIA. So Vibram Disc Golf /blog.html, or just go to vibramdiscgolf.com and click on the blog button.
That's easy enough. So VIBRAM? Correct?
Well done.
All right, I can spell.
And hold on, I'll spell Jonny now.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's Jonny without the H.
No H.
No H up in here.
That's right.
That sounds like a song.
It could be.
Jonny with no H.
All right. Well, again, Steve, thank you so much. Smashbox thanks you for all the support. I know Disc Golf thanks you for all the things that you guys are doing over at Vibram and at Maple Hill. I know you wear a number of hats, and usually only during the Maple Hill week, actually. But you do a plethora of things, and we appreciate all of the support. And we look forward to seeing what you have going on later in the spring, and as well as rejoining you in June for the Maple Hill Open.
Thank you both very much for having me, and best of luck with everything you're doing with this show. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future.
All right, we look forward to having you back on sooner rather than later.
Let's do. Why don't I be the second guest?
That's a great idea.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
All right.
It's not in your contract.
Thanks, and
Have a good night.
have a great night.
Thanks.
All right. Well, there you have it again. That was Steve Dodge of Vibram Disc Golf. Some will pronounce it Vibram. I know there's always an argument about that, depending on the area or the part of the country that you're from. I know there is constantly a debate, but most of us refer to it as Vibram.
Yeah.
Either way, Steve has really elevated the sport of disc golf. He's a thinker and a reader, as you said.
And a reader, yeah. He's done a lot for the sport, and he's always coming up with fresh, new, good, bad ideas. But we need people like that. It's people like him and Chuck Kennedy to throw things at the wall and see what sticks, because something will, and it'll change the sport.
Yeah, and he's got an amazing property out there in Leicester, Massachusetts. I have now visited there, I believe, for the last 4 years. As many of you know, the Maple Hill Open is held right there at Maple Hill, and it's, I think, 3 or 4 different course configurations. When you go out there, you can play the red course, the blue course, the gold course, and multiple baskets on some of the holes, so that you're always able to play whatever skill level or course that you wish to when you're out there. And it's just simply an amazing piece of property. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there during the Maple Hill this upcoming year. It's been some great experiences.
Yeah, and if you haven't, go out, buy a Vibram disc, give it a shot. I've thrown them a few times, and they're as good, if not better, than anything I've thrown.
Yeah, absolutely. They talk about trusting your rubber and about the durability and the grip, and we're finding that a lot of people in colder situations have had success. I know that's one thing Steve has talked about. In colder climates, some of his players and his team members have had great success, possibly because of that grip during the wintertime. Dana Vici, I'm going to remove my earpiece here, Dana Vici is here in the Midwest, and is one of the Vibram's most well-known players out there, and Dana will be joining us in various segments. We'd like to thank Dana for helping out on the show, and we're looking forward to having him on various segments in upcoming weeks as well.
We're going to have a regular segment with Dana, probably talking to the Dynamite, and maybe even a game of some sort. So
absolutely. And so with that being said, again, thank you to Steve Dodge. We're going to move over. We're going to talk about some of the we'll say the products that we've seen. And one thing we definitely want to do is cover everything from discs to bags to accessories. We know that there's a wide range of them out there. One of the things that's maybe not something you'd put in your car, so to speak, and we'll say go out and purchase in a store, but one thing that you might pack with you on the course is a video game.
I don't know if you pack it on the course, but
it's with you. So it's on your phone.
It's with you.
It's all your other apps.
It's on the phone. Yeah. Today, I read, and I think it was even released today, Pixel Disc Golf. It's a game for iOS, the Apple operating system for your phone or iPad. They released a game called Pixel Disc Golf, and it's like a little. It's a real.
Does it have a Mario Brothers feel, sort of, kind of, or that 8-bit technology? Do you have an image or something?
No, I don't. It is a real 8-bit technology. There's a whole series of pixel games out there that I think they're kind of playing off of and uses more of an homage. So there's only 2 options, and your guy, he faces one direction or he faces the other, and it's you tap the screen and you hold it down to see how far your guy throws. There's some obstacles. There's water. There's 3 different courses. Each course is 6 holes. I know they're working on more. And you need to shoot under par in order to open up the next course. It took me, like on real golf, it took me quite a few times to try to get under par. It was a little difficult. It's not an easy game, honestly. There's a few things that I'd like to see updated or changed, and I know the developer's working on things. So I played it. It's $1.99. If I had to guess, or if I had to give a suggestion, I would say it's worth it. Just for the mere fact that it is a disc golf game, it's a little fun. Go out and support them if you can. They'll, the more support they get, I'm sure the better they can make the game. And send them suggestions and things. I know that that's not the only disc golf game that's out there either.
No, some of the gentlemen I talked with out of Madison, Wisconsin, which is about an hour west of us here in Milwaukee, over in Madison, Local Route Labs have been working on Unchained, the disc golf game, and that is very advanced. There is actually just countless different options. I know they're working on things where you can you'll be able to build your own courses. I know that you'll be able to purchase discs inside of the shop. So if you want to put discs in your bag while you're out playing,
like virtual
discs, you'll be able to go out and purchase those from your various manufacturers. So if you have a favorite manufacturer you'd like to support, you can actually go out and buy a virtual disc to put in your bag. I believe you can find discs on the course while you're out there.
So the virtual discs probably, cost some what they call microtransactions, probably some small little bits of cash you put in, maybe a couple pennies here and there.
Something along those lines. And I know that it was almost exactly a year ago. Here it is in November, and I know back in December of last year of 2013, they had a initial release that they were letting everyone see. We were at Glide Disc Golf in Madison, Wisconsin, checking out a demonstration by them, and I believe they also just released a full-scale version within the last week as well.
Okay.
So we're seeing more disc golf video games come up. A far cry from the PC games that we were trying in like 98.
Somewhere. I don't know if I still have the box, the original disc golf box. Was that an Innova?
I know Innova had at one point collaborated with some people, and there's been a number of other ones. So if you've got games or any specific reviews or maybe some screenshots and some other cool things related to either of the games that we just mentioned, certainly, again, tag us at SmashBoxxTV or at JV Phobic or at the Disc Golf Guy, and we could talk a little bit about those, maybe give you a recap every couple of weeks as to what's new and coming out in terms of all of the various games. I mean, there's just so much.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I know they've got some for the consoles, some older ones, PS3, and I know the Wii had one. So I'm really looking forward to the day that someone really comes out with a real high-end one for one of the newer systems, and hopefully this Disc Golf Unchained can maybe expand and eventually get to there.
Yeah, and another portion of this show that we'll be talking about, not just about the games that are coming out, but of course there are a ton of different disc golf related apps, whether it's for flight charts, whether it's to see how far you're throwing or to keep score.
Scoring is most popular.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be talking a little bit about those as we move forward. I know I have used a couple of different apps throughout the last few years. You being on iOS have used different apps.
Yeah.
And we can compare some of the pros and cons to the different
features and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And we know even coming in on our chat board, there's some guys talking about various things. I know All Things Disc Golf down out of Illinois. I know they review and talk about a lot of different things, and we look forward to them contributing here to the show and keeping everyone caught up on what they're seeing. And I know that they've been a resource along with many others talking about it, so we'd like to do the same and then some. Let's talk a little bit about what we've seen on social media.
Facebook, Twitter, Tinder.
Yep, Tinder. That's
Instagram, maybe.
Oh yes, Instagram. Sure. Exactly. Some of those. We've seen a lot of different things. I think one of the things that we've seen on Facebook was, in fact, another video that was came out by Joe Canali.
He's got a few of them out there. His videos are they're very professional looking.
Yeah, Joe, I think that's a slight on me. No, Joe, I know, has done some amazing things. I believe he's also worked with the likes of ESPN or contributes with them now.
His Vimeo page has a lot of, it looks like, I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of them, but I know they've got a lot of different sports, everything from basketball to maybe some football stuff on there. It looks like he's worked with ESPN. He's got quite a resume under him.
Yeah, he may work at ESPN right now. I know I spoke with him a while ago, but he had released a new video that many of you saw. It talks all about what people are thinking about while they're throwing.
Yeah, it's called Head Games.
And it's definitely worth checking out. It's only about 1 minute and 40 seconds. It's under 2 minutes, I believe.
That's right. I think maybe just over 2.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
stop playing head games with me.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear from the likes of your Will Schustericks and Jeremy Colling and some of those other guys.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it's edited together and it looks absolutely amazing and beautiful. And
we need more of it, honestly.
We do.
I know a lot of people. I'm sure Joe's a busy guy, but there's a few people out there doing. There's a lot of people out there doing entire rounds, of disc golf, and that's great. But what I'd like to see is more of this stuff, things like Joe does, these small segments, these clips, things that we can use and steal eventually.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, what are the pros thinking, and not just an interviewer and in the bag with them, but maybe something a little more stylized. I think this is a nice little touch.
Absolutely. And Joe, thank you for everything that you've worked on, and I look forward to talking to you more and working with you more moving forward. Again, some great footage.
Yeah, and if Joe wants to be on the show, promote stuff, just give us a ring or tag us, and we can get you on at some point in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things. I know many of you follow along. We have so many of our top professionals. Really, probably, I would say at least 45 out of the top 50 players in the world are on Facebook.
Sure.
And one of the things recently published to Instagram and I believe to Facebook was Paul McBeth getting serious about some off-season training.
The McBeast compound, the McCompound, I don't know what he's calling it, but it looks scary.
Yeah, Paul.
It looks like the guy built a giant garage, and he's going to sit and work on his game more.
Yeah,
which that's what we need is Paul McBeth to get better.
Many of you have seen that I spoke with Paul shortly after the USDGC while we were in his car, which is for sale. And he talked about how he wants to train here in the off season. Sure. He wants to get, in better shape, and he wants to learn some shots that he currently doesn't execute. And believe it or not,
what are those? Can you tell me?
I think he's gonna pull probably rabbits out of hats. I know he's got that trick that he's got to learn and hone in.
Is he gonna throw the end of a rabbit or something? I mean,
don't give him any ideas.
He's the 3-time world champ.
Yeah, current
world champ. He has. It looked like every shot. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna sit there and work on Scoobies for like 6 hours a day. But
yeah, no, very impressive. And also recently on social media, we definitely have to say I just saw Sarah Hokum yesterday, Paragon sponsored, Prodigy sponsored, world champion Sarah Hokum talked about doing her 100 putts for 100 days.
Yeah, it looked like she was. Not only was she doing it, but it kind of looked like she was reaching out to people to kind of do it as well, and that's. That's the type of thing that I think people are really going to enjoy and people like. People like when these pros reach out to them and can communicate with them, and with the social media, it's a real easy way to do that. It's not so easy for us right now. 100 putts every 100 because within the next 5 days we're probably going to have a little bit of dusting and the snow on the ground, so getting out will be a little bit
maybe you should
tough.
Build a compound and practice.
You know what? It took me long enough to build a studio, an entire giant studio that we're in. So maybe you and I will sit and film us putting back and forth here.
Yeah, well, I know Sarah's going to do different distances as well as different styles. She had practiced a spin putt yesterday. I want to say she was 42%, if my memory serves me, and from 30 feet. And today I believe she was 76% from 20 feet on push putts. So I can't say we're going to give you an update every single week as to Sarah's progress.
No, maybe we'll get Sarah on and she can give us an update.
Exactly. Sarah can do it. And we encourage you to go out and come up with your own routines. To wrap up with Paul, though, very amazing that you're seeing even the best player in the sport right now. Here he is. He's got his final win about a week and a half ago in a playoff. And he's not playing anymore this year, and he just wants to practice.
Scary.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah,
it's more power to him. We need more Paul McBeths on the tour.
Well, I'm not sure some of his top competitors feel that way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If they can't keep up, that's their issue.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been an amazing year, of course, as we've seen.
Yeah, you see a lot of these guys out there putting their off season regimens out there, which is good. I'd like to see that stuff.
And one thing that again, so many different people to reach out to. I know at one point we will be bringing in your new world distance record holder in Simon Lizotte. Yep. Simon is a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show. We've got some we got some secret B-roll footage of him from a couple of years that we don't know if we can show or not yet, but we'll.
But he is the world record holder at 863 feet. And again, there's so many different things to talk about. We're not going to do it all in one show here tonight, but definitely look forward to talking to Simon and so many of our other top players. Yeah. We see our chat board has been very active tonight. We want to thank everyone that has chimed in, talking all about. We see Brad talks about Johnny McCrae and his new Latitude sponsorship. Yeah. Obviously, that's something worth talking about. We will get on that. Scott Stokely. I saw Scott Stokely down at Bowling Green in March, and
he's got
recently
a new line of discs coming out, and he's shown up off the radar. Suddenly he's pinging again. And
he's back on, and it'll be interesting. I saw he cashed a few weekends ago, and again he has his own disc line, as you mentioned. And there's just so many exciting things. A lot of people talk about, well, what are you guys going to talk about during the off season? And
it is an off season. There's from about November till March. I think there's probably only a handful of even A tiers out there, but. You know what? Things are always going on. Companies are always releasing discs, and there's always someone that wants to tell us about their new stuff. So I think we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I think we will. And if we don't, we can always just bring Steve Dodge back, apparently.
That guy likes to talk, and we like to listen.
And we do, because he is so great. Anything else that we want to cover here in our opening show here tonight?
Well, maybe do you have anything you want to share with the people out there? Any picks maybe a pick of the week or something should we try to do not disc golf related?
Yeah, not disc golf related. The weather's an easy one as it's getting nastier. I don't really have any. Well, I guess I will. I would like to say I'm not a huge football fan. I enjoy watching football, but obviously one of the most talked about things in all of the sports world this last week was just the sheer domination of our beloved Aaron Rodgers.
Beloved. My boss actually was meeting Aaron Rodgers today. He told me as he was walking out the door, he kind of stopped me and goes, "Guess who I'm going to go meet?" And I said, "Well, who are you going to go?"
Santa Claus?
Yeah. No, I was going, "Who are you going to meet?" And he's like, "Mr. 6 touchdown himself." And I said, "Oh, Mr. Aaron Rodgers." So
wow.
He said they're at a big convention here in town in Milwaukee where we're located. So that's it. Yeah, I mean, he
certainly worth talking about. Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it.
If
he actually plays disc golf.
Yeah, he does. He does play disc golf. That's a good connection. He was asked on one of his radio shows about it.
ESPN. Yeah,
he likes to play out in California at a few courses. So I feel bad for a few of our Illinois viewers.
Wow, ouch. But, sorry, Dynamite and so many others.
Yep. Any maybe your Brett Kamincioli.
Yeah, some of those guys. Yeah, so it
was a fun weekend for some of us.
Yeah, absolutely, and just amazing. So tip our hat to Aaron Rodgers with an amazing performance. And weekly we'll be able to give various plugs and whatnot. I'll make a personal plug for any of those within say 3 to 5 hours of southeastern Wisconsin. I will be again hosting the Cold Turkey. It's a PDGA C-tier event. It's going to be the Cold Turkey number 9.
Gray Fox, right?
Over at the Gray Fox course, which is in Kenosha County. That's southeastern Wisconsin.
Somewhere around here, I've got a Cold Turkey trophy from like the 1 year I played.
No, I think you stole that probably from my leftovers.
It might have been. No, I think it definitely wasn't open though. We'll just say that it was a different division 9 years ago.
Okay, we won't talk about that then. But the Cold Turkey is going on. Please go out. It has traditionally had anywhere from 50 to 70 players per day. I've had to split it because it's actually sold out.
It's a great course. It's tough. Honestly, it's a long wooded course.
Yeah, and it's in the classic pins, and it's going to be a good course and a good tournament. We have a bar and grill that we go to warm up shortly after, but it is the Saturday and Sunday right after Thanksgiving, hence the Cold Turkey. 9th year PDGA C-tier registration is available out on iregisteredonline.com. That is my website, iregisteredonline.com. So if you're within, like I said, 3 to 5 hours of the southeastern Wisconsin area and you want a solid course to play and have a good time, you should certainly come check out the Cold Turkey at the end of the month.
All right. Well, I think I'll make a pick real quick here before we go. I'm gonna pick an app that's on both iPhone and iOS. It's called Pocket Casts, and it's a real nice way for you. They've got a free version and a paid version. and it's a real nice way for you to just kind of keep up on podcasts. I have about 20 different podcasts I keep up with on a weekly basis. And if you want some podcast suggestions, I can give those too. Just tweet me and I'll throw some. The one I've been loving the most lately is one called We Have Concerns. It's more of a comedy podcast, but it's something I sit and listen to almost every day. And if you do go out and get a podcast app, I highly recommend Pocket Casts. It's you can do things such as listen at higher speeds and things like that, so you can burn through podcasts quicker. I'll burn through a 2-hour podcast in about 45 minutes.
Your brain thinks that fast?
No, I miss a lot. No, maybe not quite 45 minutes. Maybe about an hour. Because I usually listen to it about 1.7 to 2 speed, and they kind of sometimes they sound like chipmunks, but for the most part, you get used to it after about 3 or 4 minutes of listening.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. A couple of picks from. Speaking of picks, I don't think Aaron Rodgers had any interceptions.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Actually, I think I read something that he hasn't had a pick at home since 2012.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's like 28 straight touchdowns. I heard 0 picks at home.
Wow. I did read. I think the cover story on The Onion was that Jay Cutler said he is absolutely convinced that, yes, they do need to start looking for a new punter. So check out The Onion, and you'll get more updates there. Yeah.
So shout out to Brad Aarons, who out there says that he was a Bears fan, and he thinks after this weekend he's going to be a Packers fan. You can't go wrong. There's plenty of room on the bandwagon.
Absolutely, and we're glad to have you. So with that being said, of course, again, we want everyone to reach out to us. Give us your feedback. This is our first ever show. We just jumped right into it. Sure. And we got to thank some other people, including, personally, I need to make sure to thank Steve Hubner over at Disc Golf Talk Radio. Yeah. I've been working with Steve for the last 3 or 4 years now. He really had this brilliant idea of calling up some of our top professionals, recording it, and putting it out there for people to listen to. And I've tried to help out Steve for a number of years now, and Steve's been getting caught up and wants to move on with some other projects. So when we discussed doing this project, Steve said he'd be one of the first guys to tune in and take part in simply viewing our show and helping us out. So, Steve, it's been amazing. It's been a great time. And if you're into any kind of fishing, Steve is your guy to talk to. And we'll probably have Steve on the show at some point here.
For sure.
And talk to him about some of the fun and the successes we had over at Disc Golf Talk Radio. So, Facebook, Twitter, the whole 9 yards, YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, you can find us at Facebook, Terry, the Disc Golf Guy. You just created a fan page because you had so many fans.
Yeah, so many fans. No, I did. So just facebook.com/the Disc Golf Guy. You'll find my fan page there. Please go out and like and subscribe to that. I want to interact with everyone as much as possible. And we've got TDs and other people that are coming after us, and they want live or video blogged coverage in 2015, and we're gearing up. So
reach out to Terry, reach out to myself if you're a TD and you want to have your tournament broadcast live on the internet.
We could now maybe even take our studio, and we could even transport that and bring in live guests and whatnot at some of the bigger events, maybe your World Championships and some of that other exciting stuff. So with that being said, this is Jonny V, my good friend and the producer here at SmashBoxxTV. And for Jonny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, we're going to go ahead and put a wrap on this. This is our first ever podcast. We look forward to all of the feedbacks. Please like, subscribe, share, do everything you can out there on social media, and look for us again next week, probably just about the same time in the same place.
I think Tuesday 9 o'clock should work pretty well for us through maybe through the fall until things get picked up maybe in the summer and we're traveling a little more and doing whatnot. So
we'll make it work for you guys. So again, here at SmashBoxxTV Podcast, this is Jonny V. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we look forward to talking to you next week when you step inside the Smash Box.